It's Victory Taco Tuesday. You got that right, Debbie. How is everybody doing? Big day today. We got a big dub. Not feeling the best, but hey. What is up, everybody? How we doing? I'm finally on. Yeah, I took a nap earlier. I was gonna do a live like at 3:45, and I was just not feeling it because I was sleeping. I woke up like at 3:30. I was like, I'm gonna continue to nap. So, but here I am. Here we go. We're feeling a lot better. Trying to stay positive. I don't know. I can't shake this bug. But you know what? The Niners won last night, and it was a phenomenal game. Thank you, everybody, for the kind comments. Christy, Nia, Debbie, S. Flood, everybody. Thank you, though. I'll get better. It's a flu. You know, it happens. Change of the weather is what it is. But here we are. It's Victory Tuesday, Victory Taco Tuesday, and we got a lot to talk about, right? Niners got a big time dub on prime time, 38-10, and I feel like this was the type of game they needed, right? A monumental game where they just seized momentum, and they took a lot out of Arizona, and they showed that they were a dominant team. You know, again, everybody says, Arizona's not that good of a team, but when you have a bad team, you should whoop them up. You should whoop them up. So let's see. I think I got a guest coming in. Let's see. He's not in yet. What's up with this? Let me. Oh man, I'm so sick today. I can't figure this out. What's up, Tommy? Beautiful football. Trap game Sunday. Yeah, we'll talk about New Orleans later. I definitely think that could be a trap game because they got a big game coming up after that. Give me 1 second. Oh man. Okay, good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you, C-Mac. How you feeling, man?
Doing good. What's going on?
How much, man? Big dub last night. I mean, holy smokes. Let's talk about last night's game. How are you feeling? I'm feeling pretty damn good, but last night's game it was like a movie, man. It was just how the crowd was feeling. They came out hyped up, supporting the squad. I mean, you could just tell the Mexican faithful were just in droves. I mean, it was a home game, literally home game away from home. The entrance when they came out, the entrance was insane. Like they were hyped. It was amazing. It felt like a Super Bowl atmosphere. Like the team was just out there juiced up. They made good second half adjustments, and there were so many standout players. And the offense clicked, man. And that was the biggest takeaway is how that offense played, man. It was nice to see the offense came out and just like they got the weapons like firing. Everybody got involved. Brandon Ayuk 2 touchdowns. George Kittle. Everybody's saying, "Oh, we got to trade George Kittle. He's terrible." He showed up 2 touchdowns, probably laughing at everybody. And then he had Debo. He got involved on the little, toss play. He got his longest rush touchdown of his career. And then he had CMC, man. He's the X factor. He did everything. And I had people sitting there texting me yesterday. Well, why aren't they going to use Elijah Mitchell? Is Kyle stupid? Is Kyle stupid? And then guess what? Second half, he came out and it was all fresh legs Elijah Mitchell. A running back one, basically. All these guys, they have 5 guys that could probably start or be like top option, number one options on any team. Brandon Ayuk, he's the number one wide receiver on any team. Debo Samuel, he's the number one on any team. George Kittle, number one wide receiver on any team. Maybe not the Chiefs. Elijah Mitchell, 70% of teams, he could probably be a starter. CMC, he's a starter on 100% of teams. Like, that's disgusting. And they finally clicked, and Jimmy was confident. And there will be no Jimmy Garoppolo slander here tonight.
Okay. Yeah. So, we've been wanting to see this put together, right? All these weapons, all these toys, and last night was what this offense should look like, and that's what all the faithful, we all know it. This is what the offense should look like. That's why Kyle has been under scrutiny so much. That's why Jimmy, no slander, has been under scrutiny. But last night was Kyle Shanahan had it clicking on all cylinders. He was in his bag. He was utilizing Debo on the end around. He was drawing up plays and I've been watching a lot of Get Up and people talking about the Niners win last night, and they were saying it looked like there was a pattern laid out with Shanahan and how he wanted to use each individual, and then it was executed flawlessly. So when you get CMC and you do have all these, you touched on it with Elijah Mitchell, you have all these pieces where you're trying to get people to rock. And for the first couple of games, you're still trying to feel that out as a play caller. Last night definitely was what it should look like moving forward.
Yeah.
Jimmy, we got to give Jimmy his flowers, right? He's been, he's gone through hell in the offseason. Didn't think he was coming back. Thrown in there coming off the bench. I've been really I've criticized Jimmy a lot. A lot of people have. That whole NFL world has criticized Jimmy. Jimmy looks comfortable and he looks confident. And a lot of that has to do with the acquisition of CMC at your hip. A lot of that has to do with CMC at your hip, and just realizing the amount of pressure that these weapons can take off a quarterback. Yeah. Jimmy looks confident. Jimmy's out there on the run. Did Jimmy run a bootleg and throw a touchdown to George Kittle on the run? You know what I'm saying? This is what it should have looked like. That's why a lot of the fans were, wanting to light a fire under Kyle. Man, you got all these guys. This is what it should have looked like. Last night was a prime example of what it should look like going forward.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. And this is one of the questions everybody had earlier in the week. They said, oh, why is the offense stalling? Why is the red zone stalling? And one of the things I said, and I think I nailed this one. I'm going to take credit for this because I said, you know what? They haven't really hit their stride together. They haven't gelled together. They haven't really played together. CMC's been on the team for 4 weeks now. Kittle missed some time early. Debo missed some time. Elijah Mitchell missed some weeks. Everybody hasn't really got to be in the offense at the same time. Kyle had to figure it out. Right. And again, I kept saying, who's been the most consistent receiver or player on this team? It's been Brandon Ayuk. Yeah. Because he's been the only healthy one. But now they're all there. And Brandon Ayuk just posted today, he goes, we got more dogs than anyone, bro. That's it. The Niners have more dogs than anybody. And they're not just good players. They're legit dogs. They're going to hit you in the mouth. You see Trent Williams pulverizing dude, running people over, just dominating dudes. And it's so funny because, last week, people talk about, he's tipping plays. He doesn't care if he's tipping plays. He's tipping the D line or the O lineman or the D lineman off their stance like nobody's business. Okay, you know what's coming. Stop me. And he nobody could stop him in the track. He was blocking like crazy. The whole O line was blocking like crazy. And when they start getting in that moment, everybody starts feeling it. Everybody was just juicing. And I think you're right. CMC has been the biggest acquisition. There was that stat that Field Yates posted out today. Let me pull that one up. It's crazy because
3-1 since we got him, man. The average points per game went from 21 to 28 since we got him. Yeah,
it's crazy.
And it does something. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Yeah. So they're 3-1 since they got him. 28.5 since they got him. They were at 20.8, 396 yards a game, up from 340. Third down percent went from 41 to 55. He's been a massive difference maker. And I feel like that's given Jimmy confidence because, when Jimmy throws to these guys, he can throw that little 2-yard screen pass, whatever, to Ayuk or Jennings or whatever. They'll catch it, but they'll probably get tackled right after. The difference with CMC is he'll take that little screen pass and he's so electric. He's so slippery. He can slip the first tackle and take it for 12 yards. And it's Jimmy's oh, okay, I'll just keep feeding this guy. That's what he did. He kept dropping those little screen passes, and the ball kept moving up. And then when you start trying to neutralize him, Kittle over the middle, Brandon Ayuk, it was just insane, man.
Yeah, and like I said, it's what it's supposed to look like. And not even just Jimmy. When you hear these players' press conferences or after the game and they're on ESPN talking to reporters, they know that this team is so stacked, and to feel the confidence, like as a team, like yo, we got these dudes, like we got the talent. The talent is here, right? And you add Christian McCaffrey, that only sets it in stone the amount of confidence that you have in your locker room, especially running the offense. And so I seen people talking about, oh, it's Arizona and Kyler Murray wasn't out there, and the Rams, he beat the Rams. But listen, man, when we played the Chiefs, right? How do you respond from that? How do you respond? How do you respond, D'Amico Ryans getting torched? You know what I'm saying? How do you respond going forward? Okay, you're outscoring opponents 53-0 in the second half in the past 3 weeks. You haven't given up a point in the second half. It's all about building for the long run to when you get in the playoffs. Yeah, we got smoked by Kansas City. Absolutely. That was horrible. Blown coverages, things like that. What do you do to respond to that going forward? You make adjustments. This defense has been locked in. The offense is now rolling. You got pieces together. It's baby steps, game by game. It's one-game seasons every week to get to the promised land of where you want to go. The Niners have responded well. Shout out to D'Amico Ryans for making the adjustments. And honestly, Shanahan's been under fire. Shout out to Shanahan for what he pulled off last night and the game plan that was executed. The Niners cannot be touched in the NFC when we execute our game plan. The defense is too stacked. The offense is rolling.
100%. There's so much you could talk. So shout out to Kyle, man, because a lot of we sit here, we're critical of Kyle. But you know what? Last night, it's a big achievement. He's the first time he's over 500 as a coach. I expect him to continue to roll. He took over this team when they were dog water. Let's be honest. They had no talent. He built this team from nothing into something. They got a great team. And that's credit. You got to give him credit, man. You got to give him the flowers. We're so critical on Kyle, and we want him to win a Super Bowl. This could be the year, man, because you're right. This team is so stacked when healthy. They're getting their players back. Someone in the comments said, Womack, Greenlaw. So many players. It's not just the star players. Look at Banks and Burford not allowing sacks, and just the underrated, Charles Omenihu, who out there has like the second amount, like him and Nick Bosa have the most pressures in the league over the last couple of weeks. Like, Charles Omenihu, nobody knows who this guy. But that's credit to also John Lynch. I want to talk about John Lynch because he's cultivated a great team. I know he's missed on players. I know he's had some bad drafts. But, man, he's done a lot of good things. He brought in Mooney Ward. He got Trent Williams in, and then he re-signed him. He brought in, he drafted Nick Bosa, and he got Debo back. He got Kittle re-signed. He got Warner, like all these players. And if you look at
we got CMC.
Like you go out there, and he makes, like a couple years back, he went out and got Jimmy for – I know not a lot of people love him, but they went out and upgraded the position. I know they could have had other quarterbacks, but that's what they did. Like every year, a couple years back, they went and got Emmanuel Sanders. Like he's put this team in great position. All the gems, Greenlaw, Womack, Hufanga. And I was looking at this team, and it hit me. I was like, what team was he, a champion with? Tampa Bay Buccaneers, bro. That defense. You remember that defense? The younger Bucs probably
I
won't.
lived through it.
But yeah, man, they had Brooks at linebacker, that's Fred Warner, and they had like Shelton Quarles. They had a dog linebacker core. Niners have a dog linebacker core. A stout D-line led by Warren Sapp. Stout D-line led by
Simeon Rice off the edge.
Exactly, Simeon Rice, man. And then you have this guy, John Lynch, like all-pro safety. You got Hufanga, who he sees himself in. And then on offense, man, game manager quarterback. You got a set of weapons. You got a dynamic running back. Ward Dunn, Mike Allstate. Like this team, I think John Lynch saw what he saw back in Tampa Bay. He's like, we're building it, and this team is executed. They're so good. If they play to their hot level, nobody can beat them. And like you said, I like what you said about D'Amico. This guy, you're right. They got torched up in Kansas City, and everybody said, oh, yeah, he sucked. This team's second half adjustments. Last 3 games, nobody has scored a single point in the second half. Oh, my God, man. Yeah. Oh, my God.
And people are forgetting you're without your 3 starting defensive linemen. You're down 2 corners that are out for the season. And, it's not to make excuses, next man up. But you got to make adjustments. D'Amico Ryans is making adjustments, whether it's after the first quarter, halftime, game 2, from when you get smoked by Kansas City. It's just the adjustments. You see Kyle's finally adjusting, getting all those weapons together. And again, John Lynch kind of flipped his philosophy, I feel like, right? In the beginning, he treasured draft picks, right? Like, he got Jimmy for a second. Like, that's manageable, right? But, you gave up a lot to get Trey. That's still to be determined. But, listen, you go and get CMC. You're in on Ndamukong Suh. Oh, you want to talk about Odell Beckham? Yeah, sure. He's on the table, too. Like, I think last year and seeing what the Rams did when they just stacked stars, Von Miller, OBJ, Matthew Stafford, they went out and got a ring, man. I think John has done a great job adjusting his philosophy. He's showing that he's not just stuck in his ways. He's willing to adapt to the NFL and the way things are going. I mean, quite frankly, like what the Rams and the Bucks have done the past couple years is something you see in baseball or the NBA. They're stacking talent on teams. And John Lynch is adjusting to that. So, kudos to him. Not every GM's perfect. Yeah, we miss Buckner. But, you got to think about this team where we were, man. When these guys got here, we're competing. This team is full of dogs punching people in the mouth. So, shout out to them.
Yeah, 100%. They're, like you said, they're dogs, man. They're physical. Nobody's going to want to play this team in the playoffs, man.
Nope.
Tough team. And again, man, this is just a dominating team. And when they're firing on all cylinders, it's hard to beat them. They got top players at almost every position of the game, man. And speaking about top players, okay, Cardinals, everybody was, what? Everybody's sitting there now. They're making excuses today, right? Oh, you didn't have Kyler. Yesterday, everybody and their mom was freaking out. Oh, Colt McCoy. Bro, what the are you talking? I was laughing in the comments. I was like, are you guys really scared of Colt McCoy?
PTSD, man.
Last year, they had Drake Kirkpatrick and Josh Norman, a blind man.
Yeah.
Sorry, no disrespect to blind man. A blind man could beat those two guys. I'm sorry. And this year we had Charvarius Ward, Sam Womack. Get some respect on Sam Womack's name. He is a star rookie.
Lenore.
And then Diamador Lenore, man. Boy went toe-to-toe with D-Hop and was giving him the hands. And
he embraced it.
I love Mooney Ward. Okay, he let up a couple yards in the first half. Second half, after that taunting, after D-Hop was pointing, different game. You heard what Mooney Ward said after the game? He called him steroid boy. Bro. That was amazing. He came out and he said, yo, you want to come out and sit there and jab to us? Guess what? Scoreboard, you took steroids. I don't respect your game. And Ward exposed him. He said he was dirty, choking him, holding him, doing all this like dirty tactics. And at the end of the day, Mooney Ward got the last laugh on him. Steroid boy, are you kidding me? That's something I say. So they be watching my ass. No wonder I got blocked from that boy D-Hop. Steroid boy went down. I loved it. This secondary is full of young bucks.
Yeah.
With some veterans. I mean, Mooney Ward, man, earning that money.
And even like, okay, Mooney Ward's coverage was one thing. His tackling, his ability to be aware of plays that are unfolding as they happen and to be on the line of scrimmage when needed to be for little bullshit screens or whatever the case may be, his tackling and his physicality more so last night was on display more so than his coverage skills. That boy was on the line. That boy was hitting. You're going to take your losses against D-Hop. D-Hop's a great receiver. But Lenore, one thing about Lenore, it's one thing for a rookie or whoever to say, embrace, all right, I'm going against D-Hop. You know what I'm saying? Let me get my mentality right. No. He embraced it, had his mentality right, but he was physical. That boy was physical. It's different for when a guy, all right, we got D-Hop, let's get my mentals, talk your shit.
Yeah.
Lenore backed it up. Lenore was physical. He did what he had to do. He popped his ass. Great for Lenore, man. It was like, it was just everything clicked last night, and this team is scary when that kind of performance hits the field.
He's a dog. It's a squad of dogs, man. A squad full of dogs. And not just the offense. Like you said, defense and offense, and everybody knows the defense is tough, but now the offense is catching up. And again, this is a team, both sides of the ball. They're physical. They get to the playoffs. It's going to be hard to beat them. And you're right, man. These guys, Charvarius Ward, his tackling, he hasn't missed a tackle in the whole season. He's the best tackling cornerback in the league. He had 10 tackles last night. And, D-Hop's going to get a few plays here and there. But the thing is, he stopped him, and he didn't let it go for, like, big yards. Like, you're going to let him take, like, those 8 yards here, 7, those little garbage catches, but you're not going to give up the big pass. And, again, second half, they stopped him up, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to say one underdog that nobody's talking about on the defensive line is Givens. Givens was explosive on that line and was in the backfield most of the night. Givens was blowing offensive linemen up, creating just mad disruption for screens. James Conner was trying to get screens a couple of times. His point of attack off the line was just blowing their plays up. Very underrated performance last night that nobody's really talking about, but shout out to Givens. Amazing performance last night.
when he ran through that guy, I mean, he murdered. I was like, damn! Like on Friday, damn! It was crazy, bro. Hey, I'm gonna be right back. You keep talking to him. I'm gonna get me some. I'm like starting to freeze because I think my flu's acting up. Hit him up. Talk to him. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the playoffs and moving forward. So, we got the 3rd seed right now and where we stack up in the NFC. To me, Philly's up there, Dallas is up there, Minnesota, and, maybe Tampa. I feel like Washington definitely set a little bit of a blueprint on how to attack Philly because Washington just came out and straight punched them in the mouth. Philly really didn't look like they knew how to respond. And they got dog walked in that game. Dallas, I feel like Dallas right now, is the biggest threat just because of the player Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard has come out and been a big X factor for Dallas. Z kind of taking a step back, but Pollard came out. Micah Parsons looks good. But right now, I think Dallas and the Niners, to me, sit at the top right now, vowing for that NFC Championship game. Again, a lot is going to happen between now and then. Minnesota, if Kirk's on TV and in a big-time role, in a big-time game, you don't know what you're going to get with Kirk Cousins. He still has to prove that. But the Niners sitting right now in the 3rd seed. I don't know, man. Us in Dallas, Philly definitely looked questionable. They were struggling against Indy. And their run defense, they did go out and get Sue. The Ndamukong Suh picked the wrong team to sign with. He picked the wrong team. So, yeah, the run game and the attacking Philly's defense is definitely through the run. What do we do best? Fresh legs with Elijah Mitchell, mixing some CMC. So the Niners, man, they're set up and primed to make a run in this NFC. And I mean, even Dallas, against Green Bay, shit the bed. So you're not really, everybody's still trying to get consistent and finding their ways. So we'll see going forward. Philly is this year's Arizona. Cardinals of last year, not worried, Joseph says. Yeah, I actually said that to Smitty in the group chat last week. People say, they haven't really played good opponents. But, neither did the Niners starting out in 2019, and we still made it to the Super Bowl. They haven't played nobody with a winning record. I don't know. That Philly game just showed me that when a team comes out and punches them in the mouth and plays physical, how do you respond? And the response wasn't that great. So, and it's a different, especially in the cold, if we're having to play at Philly in the playoffs, and you got Deebo Samuel running downhill, you got Kittle, you got CMC. These are guys that you don't want to tackle. That's the biggest thing. Like people say, as much as people say the best way to beat the Niners is to get pressure on Jimmy G, to me, just as important as having to be able to tackle. If you can't tackle these guys and Kittle's scoring touchdowns like last night with a second touchdown with 3 Cardinals defenders around him, and you're just mistackling all over the place, that to me is going to be just as big as you trying to get after Jimmy G and put pressure on him. Nobody wants to tackle this team, bro. Nobody wants to see Deebo Samuel coming over the middle. They don't want to see his bubble routes. They don't want to see Trent Williams and Kyle Juszczyk running downhill at them, blocking at that. It's just a different style of football that I don't think the rest of the NFC, besides maybe Dallas because they do have a physical defense, is ready for come playoff time.
Yeah, I agree, dude. This is a team nobody wants to mess with. Right. And like I said, Kittle, Deebo, they're just physical. And I don't think these teams are physical enough to stop with the Niners, One guy we have to talk about, Kittle, getting him involved. I think that was key. I think the Niners really, really getting Kittle involved was very important. That's a guy that everybody was like, oh, we got to trade him. He's just a shell of himself. What could he do with the real quarterback? But with all these weapons, it opened it up for Kittle, man. And if he continues to play like that, I mean, what are you going to do? This whole offense is just, you're not going to be able to stop anybody.
Yeah. We're going to need you to get your breath, Raj. Get your breath.
Yeah, man, I'm not feeling
Get that breath going. Everybody's worried about you. Raj is good. Jordan flu game. They said Jordan flu game in the clutch after not big Niners win.
I'm freezing, bro. I got the chills.
You got the chills. Yeah, just Ward so physical at cornerback, coming in and tackling in the run game. Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of dogs, man. They fly to the ball. Whether it's Greenlaw or Aziz or Fred, it's just and I feel like too, man. And for as much as people talk about Arik Armstead, he doesn't put up the sack numbers, but he's a force in this run defense, man. Arik Armstead is missed in the run defense. I don't care if I don't agree that he's worth the amount of money he's getting paid. I'm not saying that, but he's a force, man. He is definitely missed. When Arik Armstead comes back, it is a jolt on that defensive line, man. If him and Givens are next to each other, you get Sosa back, you got Bosa. Arik Armstead is missed right now, and I feel like this week, you got the Saints who should be manageable. Let Arik sit this one out. Try to get him back for Miami if it's possible. I don't know the extent of his injury and where he sits with that. But if you get Sosa and Armstead back for a huge Miami game, let him sit, let him rest up, put them guys out there, and we're going to play the mirror image of the 49ers, the Miami 49ers.
Man, Levi's the Niners from the south of the USA, man. Miami 49ers. It's going to be a crazy game, but they got to get through the Saints. And that's kind of a trap game because right now, we should whoop them up. But, I mean, you can't just overlook this team. But I think they'll ultimately win that game.
Yeah, the Miami defense is near the end of the pack in the NFL. They give up as many points as they score, which is crazy because they score a lot. But that defense is definitely an area to attack. And what is it? The next three of the four are at home at Levi's, something like that, or 4 of the 5, something like that. We travel to Seattle for a Thursday night game. So the schedule sets up well, I feel like, to make a really nice run. I'm looking forward to that Seattle game. But we got New Orleans this week, so can't overlook teams.
Yeah, exactly. It's week by week. We just got to beat the teams that stand ahead of us. You can't think ahead. You can't think ahead. But, man, that game last night was fun time. That was good stuff.
Yeah, man. Consistent 4 quarters of football. And again, that's my biggest takeaway is 1, the adjustments, 2, the consistency, and then the 3 of Kyle Shanahan putting it all together and putting it out on the field to show your product. Bam.
Yeah, again, you have to come out. This is another game they have to dominate. They have to come out and get a big dub. You can't come. This is, again, a team that you should come out and whoop up. But again, short week, a little less preparation. It's gonna be.
You're riding in high right now. You're riding in high. How do you adjust to that feeling and this momentum you feel? You come out and lay an egg, or do you come out and punch somebody in the mouth?
And then the travel from Mexico, and
right,
like you said, they're at an all-time high right now. So, oh man, I'm not feeling too hot.
You try to cut. You're cutting it short.
I don't know. I don't want to because I tried all day to get on the show, but man.
Hey, man, listen, there's a lot more days in the year. There's a lot more hours in the week. We can go live at any time tomorrow if you want. Yeah. I mean, I get off at like 6:30. I can be home at like 8.
Yeah, let's do it tomorrow. I was supposed to do the call-in show, but I don't know how much.
Nah, man, you sound like you need to catch your breath, rest it up.
I'm so cold. Like, I'm like gonna freeze.
You know what's crazy is we have the same blankie. So shout out to you. Mine's somewhere in here, but we got the same blankie, Raj.
I'm sorry if I'm gonna have to cut this, man, but we'll be back.
Hey, you gave him a half hour. Faithful Victory Tuesday. Enjoy the victory, and we're back at business tomorrow. We got the Saints at home this week. Big time game. Let's see how we respond. Raj, appreciate it. Get some rest, man. Get some medicine. Get some fluids.
All right, no doubt. Appreciate you for hopping on, man.
Yeah, bro. All right. See you, Faithful.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to end it a little early. So sorry, but I need to get some rest. I'm going to just try to warm up here, and we'll see what happens. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. I love you. Have a good night.